Okay, well, I didn't figure it out. I don't know if it was like just by chance. Did I put it in like a specific spot? Come on. Let's see. I really wish that I knew what I was doing with it. Oh, well. Okay, do any of the following. Choose your iPhone as on your Mac. Any of it, blah, blah, blah. And it have its screen turned off. Okay. Ha! Ha ha! I did it. Just give me 1 second to put it back. Yay! I did it. That is so much clearer. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to give you a bit of motion sickness for a sec. That is so much better. Oh my gosh. Look at me upgrading. Bare minimum broadcasting. Coming in hot. Brilliant. Got a few things to do, but I'm listening, says Sim. All good. I'm just so freaking stoked. I figured this out. Now I just need to get WhatsApp web back because Vaughn is at the mall doing our weekly shop. Please just log straight in. Oh, thank goodness it logged straight in. I never use, like, I make sure I keep all of my messaging off my computer so I don't get distracted. And so that's why I had to disconnect my phone in the first place, because I had to go in and then disconnect and then scan the code and then come back. And then obviously, because I didn't realize my phone has to be locked, it disconnected. That bag hanging on the door really annoys me, if you wonder why I keep turning it like that. But then I'm not in it. I mean, I'm not centered. Okay, so now I need to figure out where I saved the other one. Playlists. Beautiful playlist. Okay, so I actually think that we saw a little bit of this. We saw these people come back on Recovery Addicts one the other day. I went a little further back than I wanted to, but there's a really funny, like, hot mic moment just before this. And I also just wanted to say, let me do this before I forget. If you want to watch the original, I'm going to put it in the description. But it is fair use. just in case anyone wants to know that.
Or something, what was done on that end, to see what, because Mr. Benson's testifying that he was unaware he was in arrears and he thought that you've been receiving the payments, and you're testifying that the attorney was supposed to be sending notice to Mr. Benson that he was in arrears. So there's a disconnect somewhere, and I'd like to see where that's at. And maybe Ms. Gadian, maybe Ms. Horton might need some assistance from you on that. I don't know.
I will absolutely reach out to him.
Okay. All right. We will see everybody back then on May 21st in person at 1:30. Mr. Benson, you can appear via Zoom. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I need, and sir, when you're doing your tracking and such, any documentation, any communication, you need to please forward to your attorney as soon as you get that, so he can then forward it to counsel. Okay.
Okay, Your Honor, I got something to add. I didn't know I was claimed to be behind on a rent until 4/2 of 2024, when I was served papers taped to my door. There was no notification.
I understand that, sir.
I'm sorry?
No, I understand that. I understand that that's what you testified to. And there's, and Ms. Horton testified that the attorney that she had previously been communicating with was to her understanding, sending information to you that the payments had not been received. So somewhere along the line, the payments that you're testifying you made are not reaching Ms. Horton. And so I'm trying to, that's why maybe there's something, they're reaching somebody else. I don't know. That's why the tracking should help in that regard.
Okay.
And so, Ms. Horton, it comes to your home. Do your parents live with you?
They lived with me until January or February of 2023. Yes.
Okay. And so, of 2023. So you live by yourself now?
No, I live with my husband.
I actually enjoyed this. I mean, we can go back further. It just has nothing to do with mold, but I'll keep it in mind. Like, this was an interesting one. This whole situation was very weird.
And my 3 children and my mother-in-law.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay. I mean, not sorry that they all live with you. I'm sorry, I just assumed you were living by yourself.
That's
Maybe you might be sorry some days, I don't know, but.
To also, Your Honor, I do have power of attorney over my parents, both parents' financial and medical affairs as well.
Okay. All right. And so they wouldn't be in a position to receive the mail and then throw it out or something else?
No.
Okay.
No, my mother.
The mail.
No, my mother's.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
We're going to be off the record.
Yep, we are all set up, everything.
Oh, sorry, I muted you.
Yeah, we are all set up, except.
Okay, so I wish I could turn closed captions off, but the sound is, let's see how it goes. See this guy on Attorney Thomas, can't see his surname. He looks like the classic TV attorney. He's going to be speaking now. I'm going to keep quiet, so in case you need to adjust the volume, because it's quite soft. He's not speaking into the mic because this is before court starts.
Accessibility is clear. We're good to go.
We also have 2 of our witnesses here as well if we need them.
Mhm.
They got their witnesses. They're not gonna take testimony.
It's 8.
Well, hey, we had them here just in case, no
We'll
worries.
save it. It's okay. We can save it.
I have text messages and.
It's okay. No, there's a time and a place for that, and it'll be addressed in the moment.
Okay.
They did Zoom meetings with the witnesses and everything. No, they don't. That's later. Oh, they during COVID, they could Zoom testimony. But this is like the first pretrial. Nothing. The judge has to sit down for pretrial 60, 90 days from now. Since they're out of the house, if they were still in the house.
Just want you to know we can hear you. You're not on mute.
Yeah, you can hear you.
Yeah.
Everyone can hear you.
Yes, Tom. Mr. Ellis, we can hear everything you're saying.
Good.
Miss, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name, Abood Carroll. Can I ask, is this meeting being recorded?
I'm not with the court. I'm on another case. So I think we're all just kind of queuing up right now for all the hearings that are in front of the judge.
James Summonek versus Travis Ackerman.
Attorney Tom Ellis appearing on behalf of the plaintiff, Your Honor.
Travis Ackerman.
That's
Elaine, put your mic on, Vicky Mac. I thought it was Judge DeSanto that saw them. Maybe I saw them in another one as well with her. But let's listen to them anyway. I know they have mold issues, but I genuinely thought it was Judge Simpson. I mean, I thought it was Judge DeSanto at this one. So the old Ellis man, he looks just like, if you were to cast a lawyer on TV, that's like the bad guy that's like, I don't know, just weird lawyering. That's what he would look like in my head. And he reminds me of New York Minute. There's like the school cop guy that chases the girls around trying to get them to go to school, whatever. That's what he looks like to me.
Ackerman and Meltzer.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct. You have Travis Ackerman and Nikki Meltzer representing themselves.
Okay, very good. All right. What is the claim in this case? How much is owing, inclusive of cost, Mr. Ellis?
According to our complaint, Your Honor, we asked for $5,743.80, but we are giving him credit for some propane that's in the tank. So he's going to owe approximately $1,150 less. $1,150 is a credit.
Your Honor, may I ask, this is news to me. This would be news
Okay,
to
hold
me.
on, folks. Hold on a moment. I need, Mr. Ellis, I need to know what's owing or what plaintiffs are claiming are owing on the account as of today, including court cost.
$4,750 approximately.
That approximately figure again. All
Your
right.
Honor, may I ask a question?
Hey, Steve.
Sure.
We so on the propane tanks, we have evidence and pictures of the readings and the levels of the tanks and can quantify the sum down to the amount owed based on what Mr. Samanak had paid per gallon. The current levels of the propane as of when we left the property on April 30th were there was just under 60% in one tank. There was just under 70% in another. So the full usage of the propane did not take place. And I do have concerns that the amount of money they're sharing does not quantifiably add up to what would be owed in relation to that per gallon rate.
In addition to the rent that they're asking us to pay, we've already paid our rent per an agreement with Mr. Samanak for a prorated rate of rent for February, March, and April, as long as we're out by the end of April.
And this was on the basis of a violation of our lease agreement due to non-repair of, and I have evidence to show pictures of a
Okay.
history.
All right. All right. Hold
Yes,
on,
sir.
a moment, folks.
Yes, sir.
This is the first
sir.
hearing. Okay. All right. Take a breath. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Because I wasn't there and you're giving me a lot of information. Okay.
Yes, sir. Your
So
Honor, it's a lot.
counsel, as I'm looking at the complaint, there's $3,023.80 for propane.
That is correct, Your Honor, but we'll give him.
So I guess here's what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, what is the rental amount that's due? And then what's due for propane?
$2,420 is owed in rent. And the propane,
2,240
yes,
Gas
sir.
stove?
for rent. Okay. And then, so if I were to subtract basically the 4750 approximately that you gave me, the rest of that is propane
Yes, in our complaint,
and court costs.
the court costs were not added in there, I don't think.
Side note, I'm eating chocolate chip cookies that I literally accidentally flew across 2 countries with them in my bag. And they were in a Ziploc bag. Heat and cooking. But I thought you're not supposed to use propane inside. Oh, so the gas is outside, right? And then it's fed to the house. I find it a bit weird to maybe I'm just getting myself confused. But when we had a gas stove, we bought the gas bottle ourselves, and then when we moved in, whatever was in there was it, it stayed there. And then when we moved out, whatever was in there stayed in there, and it just canceled each other out, I guess. I would never think to weigh a bottle, but maybe here we're using smaller amounts. Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking cold.
All right, fine. Then it's just propane. We'll worry about the court costs later. All right. So
$2,182 is owing for propane.
$2,180 for propane.
Yes.
$1,400 has been paid to Mr. Samanak. I can confirm 500 in January, 500 in March.
Sir.
Yes, sir. I
Sir.
apologize. Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. what payments have you recently received, has your client recently received, Mr. Ellis?
Originally, approximately 6 weeks ago, my client agreed to reduce the rent if they pay up the back propane bill. And payments were made of about $1,400. But that did not pay up the total back propane bill. And so the defendants are not entitled to any rent reduction because they didn't follow the agreement.
Your Honor, may I make a statement here? At no point in time was this.
Have I been able to stop you? But go ahead.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Your Honor. At no point in time was this agreement ever predicated on the payment of the propane. It literally, in any communications with Mr. Stamenak, that was not conveyed. I have interactions. His son-in-law, Harvey Proctor, actually came to pick up the money for this prorated rent. And I have text messages showcasing the process of, hey, this individual is going to come over to collect this money.
All right, so folks, let me just ask you this. You're currently out of the property.
Yes, Your Honor, we are, as of April 30th.
Okay, so possession is.
He said Harvey Proctor, and I was like, hold on, that's a lawyer's name from Suits, but that's Harvey Specter. I would have thought like that's so unlucky if they used an actual lawyer's name who practices in the US.
Isn't an issue. The issue is how much rent's owed and how much of that is owed for propane,
Correct.
right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can I ask, was there a written lease or written agreement regarding the propane?
Yes.
In the lease, it does say that the tenants would need to pay the full balance of the propane by December 31st of the year. And we talked to Mr. Stamenak, since we will be leaving in April and not the end of the year, that we would check the propane levels once we left the property and pay him the balance that we used for the propane from January 1st to April 30th.
We also have witnesses. Mr. Stamenak has visits to my.
You know what?
Yes, sir.
You can keep talking, but I don't know why it is. I understand her a whole lot better than I understand you.
That's totally fine. I'll let her do a lot of the talking.
What she said to me makes absolute perfect sense. So, I mean, it makes sense in terms of something that could have happened. I don't know if it did or not, but
So I can tell you something interesting here that's unrelated, but semi-related. In terms of radio, they found that men prefer to listen to women's. Oh, I need to mute that. How does one mute WhatsApp web? Mute. Play sounds. Don't play sounds. So in terms of radio, men prefer to listen to female radio presenters, and female listeners prefer to listen to male presenters. This was done years and years and years ago, though, and I don't know what they asked in the questionnaire, but the basic gist of it was that men are more likely to listen to a woman's voice. And at that time, it was more like the time where you're targeting the man as the income earner. So, yeah, but that's also why, like, at one stage, a lot of news readers were predominantly female, allegedly, according to the study that we were taught about, was because a woman's voice is more trusted. I think I don't agree with most of it, because I prefer listening to female presenters a lot of the time because it's more relatable. Like, we live in the same world, you know. I want to see how long I can go before I lose my mind and go full Britney 2017, or was it 2007? Tanks are like 5,000 to 1K gallons. Okay, here's the only thing. I don't know what gallons are in everywhere else. Let me work it out. 500. 3 3,785 liters. 3,785 liters. Let's say gas stove. 3 kg liters is what ours is. What? In liters. So they say 3 liters or oh, so propane is different here. We use butane more, it seems. Not small, need truck to move it. Oh. And then Steve says water heater, furnace, clothes dryer, etc. Oh. Okay, this is interesting. So I'm writing about the Texas winter storm in 2021. And so this is why I was like, but it shouldn't be inside, because a lot of the carbon monoxide was people using gas things indoors. But when the electricity was out, then a lot of people in Texas, unlike other places, relied on electricity rather than gas. So that makes sense then, because like, I wouldn't think there's that much that you can do with gas, but I guess like if that's the norm. We have small tanks for barbecue grills, but for homes it's brought in by the truckload. So those small tanks that I was talking about, that's like 9 kgs. That would be for like your kitchen stove. That's kind of the size. I think I'm getting hiccups from the cookies. Also, when I bought them, because I bought them in the UK, they're called biscuits, which is what we call them. And the only reason I call them cookies is because the ones that we buy are called New York style cookies. So these aren't New York style, but my favorite ones are.
I get it.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
my bigger problem is I don't have, and was not filed with this. I don't have the written agreement that is it Meltzer?
Yes,
Meltzer?
Meltzer.
I don't have the written agreement that she's referring to.
So it's
That's
in
not filed with the court.
apologies. It's in their original lease agreement that we signed with Mr. Samanak back in December.
No, it's okay. It's okay that I don't. I'm just letting the parties know.
So I think the difference is it has so much more chocolate and sugar than normal. So it's like a loaded chocolate chip cookie.
No, I don't have that. I'm
Like,
taking your word for what it says, but I
Understood.
don't, I just don't have it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
I'm happy to read that to you if you need to.
Okay, all right. So we're not gonna be able to resolve this today. So obviously there's a dispute between the parties as to what this propane bill is. And then let me ask you this, outside of the propane, do you believe that you owe the amount of rent?
No,
No.
sir. Due to the agreement that Mr. Samanak and I and Travis
Sorry
made on the phone
about the sniff.
in January 19th
It
of
just blew my nose.
2024, he agreed, since he has violated our lease by allowing multiple people onto our property without our knowledge, and after we have asked not to have that happen in violation to our rental agreement, section 9 of that, I know you don't have it, I apologize,
It's okay.
that technically the only people allowed on our property is the landlord or people doing repairs. It does not state that what we were living on was a working farm and that men will be in and out of our property multiple times a day. That was never disclosed to us. We asked him very kindly multiple times. This has started
Okay.
a month
I'm gonna
after we-
stop you. I'm gonna stop you there because you're
Yes, sir.
probably have to gonna explain that to me again. But here's what I'm gonna do, folks. Possession isn't an issue. It looks quite frankly like this is just gonna be math. So in terms of setting it up, I'll hear everybody's story. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this for a final settlement conference for May 14th, 2024, 9 a.m.
Okay.
That proceeding will be in person. at the courthouse. Bring all of your paperwork and everything so that I can look at it and I can refer to the provisions. You said something, ma'am? I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. Are we allowed to bring witnesses to this?
Okay, what are they going to be witnesses of?
So his parents are good friends with Mr. Samanak, and he has even stated that we are paid up on our rent. They have text messages between them paying the propane balance of $1,400.
Okay, look. Here's what I'm going to do. You can bring whoever you'd like. Whether or not I'll be able to hear from them at that time, I don't know.
Understood.
But as between the parties, I've got to get everybody to agree on what issues we would be litigating. So it may be from this final settlement conference, I will set a trial date at a later time where I'll hear the testimony. All right, but you can bring whoever you'd like. I suggest that you make sure to bring all of the documentation that the parties have regarding everything. Well, not everything, but anything relevant.
We have a
May
full-
14th. Pardon?
We have printed copies for you, and we also have an iCloud link if you would like that at any time.
Okay, all right. You can always send it to the court for filing with the court, and then I'll take a look at it at some point. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Mr. Ellis, anything else?
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, we'll see everybody on the 14th. Thank you.
Thank you.
You do the same. James Hussar.
Okay, so that is also May 14th. I don't think that's the exact one. The guy that I was thinking of was a younger guy. And he was saying him and his family all had to move out. And they had this massive gas problem. It was DeSanto. I can't remember which video. And I watched it on the plane, so it's like it's in my history, but I deleted it as soon as I watched it because I needed the space. Ugh. I'm gonna have to dig. Okay, so I'm gonna have to be careful how I do this. But I wanted to show you guys what we dealt with. Okay, so I'll read it out loud. This is in 2016, and it is a mail to the letting agent. And this is like the first part of the problems. When we noticed this, it had basically come from nowhere. Hi, Danielle. I'd just like to inform you that Vicky and I discovered a huge mold outbreak in our apartment last night. In the master bedroom, there is mold on the walls behind our bed, on our headboard, in and around our window frame, on the top edges of the skirting boards, on about 5 pairs of Vicky's shoes in the bottom of our cupboard, and even in the cup holding our toothpaste and toothbrushes. Now, keep in mind, a lot of my OCD compulsions are around cleaning like germ places. So that wouldn't have been there. Like I cleaned that a lot. In the spare bedroom, there is mold on the wall behind the bed, on our headboard, on all of our pillows, inside the pillow covers, on a lampshade, on a bag, and all over our wooden chair. In the lounge, there is now mold growing on the damp patch on our ceiling. That damp patch was because the upstairs neighbor had had a burst pipe. So, yeah. Actually, just give me a minute. I need to just stop sharing for a sec because when I scroll, okay, just give me a sec. Give me one sec. I'm going to save it as PDF so I can quickly, what do you call it? Redact. Play a little background music. Too loud. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's see. We're going to have some funny boxes of redactions and whatnot because I'm just drawing them like all over. And they are skew and they're triangular and all over the show. But I just want to do it really quick so I can show you the photos because I actually forgot how bad this is. This looks like, I can tell you one thing for sure. I do not have a future in document redaction. Okay. So keep in mind, we are two very clean people. We might be messy at times. Well, not we, just me. But there is almost zero chance that something would be this bad. Okay, I just quickly want to check what you're seeing. Yeah, that's good. How do I go full screen again? All right. So, does that even show any better? I don't think it does. Whoa, there we go. Hi, Danielle. Okay, so I read that. Nope, this is not working. What is happening? Let's get out of full screen mode. Okay, so this is the window. Look at that. These are burglar bars. I don't know if you guys have burglar bars, but it's pretty much does what it says on the tin. Keeps burglars out. This is on the window. Like, what the heck? This is in the bathroom. Look at that. It just literally blossomed. Like, this was our headboard. We were sleeping with our head against this. All of that. This moldy thing. And you can see there's a box there. We hadn't even been living there for long enough like for this to be our stuff that we move. Like, you know what I mean? This is inside the pillow. So she replies, I'm sorry, but I can't see your photos properly as they're part of the email, not separately attached. We have never had a problem with the mildew or mold in any of our units there. The tenant before you, Tate, never had a dampness issue either. Let me tell you, we got in touch with Tate, and Tate confirmed that the reason he moved was because of the dampness. Then she says when we did inspections, there wasn't a spot of mold or mildew anywhere. The only problem was the dampness on the living room ceiling. I wonder where the mold came from. You say you noticed a huge mold outbreak last night. Have you been away for a while? Mold usually takes a while to develop and is usually due to a lack of ventilation. Okay, so that's part one. Let's go back to this. If it was your stuff, it wouldn't have grown on the windows. 100%. So Tate had a problem as well. I went to the doctor as well. And the doctor was like, yeah, you are absolutely beyond a doubt being affected by mold. So that was on the 15th of July. Ooh, we're going to have to fingers crossed that my battery doesn't die. So then Vaughn replies and says, hi, Danielle. I'm not going to put this up because then I'll have to redact the whole thing again. Hi, Danielle. Further to my previous email and phone call, now 8 working days ago, your initial response to our complaint suggested that it may possibly be a ventilation issue on our part, and yet mold is growing outside our apartment in the stairwell and on the outside windowsills of both bedrooms. After discovering this, I double-checked our lease, and I'd like to remind you that, as mentioned within our lease, it is the owner's responsibility to maintain the building structure of our apartment. Vicky has been to the doctor twice for a recurring chest and sinus infection, which was accompanied by a high fever and stomach pains in the past 2 weeks. After the second visit, her doctor has written her a letter stating that the mold is causing her health issues and that she cannot live at that address. If this is going to be a recurring problem within our apartment. On a side note about the doctor's costs, being so sickly also means Vicky has to take days off work to recover. Unfortunately, because she is a contractor and is paid hourly, she does not get sick leave and therefore does not earn any money on the days that she takes off. I'm so glad I don't have to worry about that anymore. So far, I've only been able to clean the main bedroom because we have both been too ill to clean it all, and Vicky can't be anywhere near the mold. So by this point, I had rapidly moved out and moved in. We had moved in with his parents. Like, I couldn't be in that apartment. The little bit that I did manage to remove took more than 2 hours just to clean the inside windowsill and the window frame, the tops, blah, 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 blah. Because the mold has actually grown around the window frame, I was forced to use a toothbrush to remove as much as I could from behind the burglar bars. In fact, they actually need to be removed to clean the window frame properly. We have been staying with my mom since Sunday the 17th to get out of the moldy environment, which has been causing Vicky's recurring illness and my chronic sinusitis symptoms. Within 3 days, we have already noticed an improvement in our health, and I have no longer had to take medication for my symptoms. We're both extremely nervous to go back into our apartment every time we need to collect more of our things. While the mold is still visible, we'd like to get a health inspector out to evaluate our apartment, as we do not see it fit to live in right now. We are also going to throw out a number of personal belongings, including pillow inners, which the inspector will need to see before we can do so. I'd like to inform you of this, as we'd like you to be present when the property is inspected. We shall let you know when the health inspector is able to evaluate our apartment. The situation is worsening daily. Some of the clothes in my wardrobe are now covered in mold mites, so we need to bring the inspector ASAP. Furthermore, the damp patch on the ceiling in the lounge, which was an issue before we moved in, has still not been fixed, and it is now so bad that we can see a distinct outline around the dampness that seeps through each time it rains. Please discuss everything mentioned above with the owner or landlord and let me know what their response is. I have attached a zip file containing photos of the moldy areas in our apartment and a letter from Vicky's doctor. In case you can't download the photos, I've uploaded them here. So she then gets back to us and does want to meet with the health inspector. And guess what the health inspector says? It is not fit for humans to live in. So we got out of our lease immediately. We didn't have to pay the next month of rent, got our deposit back. They had to sort it all out. And just a little while later, the building inspector actually said that the entire building had been built against code. The way that they had laid it out, we had sliding doors with no windows, and there was no like ventilation. I don't see one here to explain, but you know, there's like those air vents, like the old school air vents. None of those. There was no way to ventilate the apartment, and you can litigate that with a dehumidifier, which is what happened when we moved. We moved into an apartment that had previously been moldy, and the owners had installed dehumidifiers in every single room, and so we never had mold problems again. So the way that they'd set up the apartment, it was actually impossible for there to ever not be mold. It is our like lease agreement, our housing tribunal basically says it is not realistic for a tenant to be expected to have the windows open throughout the year, like it's cold in winter, the rain can come in, etc. So the house needs to be set up in such a way that you could leave it closed and damp wouldn't be an issue. Another thing to bring up is that mold can actually cause like major mental health issues, like major. Unfortunately, I can't blame any of mine on the mold. I was just born that way. But if, like, when I was watching a lot of Dr. Phil, people who landed up paranoid, thinking like the FBI was after them, etc., their houses would test in extreme amounts for mold. And a lot of the time it was hidden. And they were clean people, but it was like in the walls. Obviously, it's worse there because like we've got concrete walls. But yeah. How long between Tate leaving and you moving in? About 2 days, maybe? Even less. I think he moved out on the 31st. We moved in on the 1st. So really quick. But yeah, those like the mold issues. I'm not enjoying. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to drop you. You need to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. Oh, it's about to get even worse. Okay. Yeah, did you hear the doof on the mic as well? So the mold issues landed up being such a difficult thing for us as well because we didn't get refunds for any of our stuff that was damaged. We had to toss all of that. It seems like the landlord didn't have a insurance. So, because like insurance would have come out and seen it was not decent is all I can think of. They didn't have insurance, so they didn't pay for anything. And now we have our own insurance and the landlords here have insurance. But essentially what the housing people said, I forgot the camera's there. That's better. Now I can't see the chat. What the housing people said was that it is the landlord's thing to clear. So even Judge Simpson saying like, if the pipe bursts the first time, okay, the second time, not great, but you can't hold the landlord accountable. Yes, you absolutely can. If Tate was having issues, 2 days was no time for them to even act like they were trying to address them. Yep, but the reason that he moved is because they hadn't been doing what they were supposed to do for months. So that like damp patch in the ceiling, that was already bad when he was there. They told us they had resolved that. It just didn't look as good. Like, it would take time and it would have to be painted over and whatever. So we believed them. He basically said, like, he suspects that what they did was they just came in and painted over everything, ignored the actual problem, and just hoped that we would think it was our fault. But they don't know me. They don't know me. I think I've mentioned this before, that there's a study that shows that people with ADHD have big feelings towards injustice that are sometimes bigger than other people's feelings towards injustice. And I definitely have that problem. Oh my goodness, it's 9:15. Hey, Bug! I'm actually about to pop up, so don't even worry. Yeah, so if I find that third one about mold, then I will play it as well. But I think that, like, I don't think it's being taken seriously enough for the health implications. Like, it took us months, and like, we weren't going like pseudoscience. We weren't doing any, like, it was nothing like that. We worked with the doctors. We had to like get rid of the mold in our lungs, and like our brains felt foggy for ages after that. It was actually ridiculous. Like, we were so sick. I landed up with so I had a stomach ulcer, and it landed up being bacterial, and that made me sick for a very long time. I was literally green. Like, Vaughn drove me to the doctor because I was green in color. And after that, my stomach like wasn't really the same. But me being sick started in that house, and it didn't really ever resolve itself. Like, my immune system was really weak that whole time. So anything would make me sick. And then when I say like it didn't resolve itself, it's like once you get an ulcer, a stomach ulcer, or once something's happened to that organ has been impacted. And I don't even want to know what havoc it wreaked on my brain at the time. Like, I was at that point, I think thankfully I was already on like antidepressants and anti-anxiety, I think. I'm pretty sure I was. And I just started my new job in radio, so I was like super excited, and like everything else in my life was going really well. Thankfully, because I carry my stress in my body. So can you imagine like being in that moldy environment, and I'm getting so sick from the mold, and then also I'm stressed, my body would just like shut down. So anyway, that's why I was getting so angry with Judge Simpson, because he's not taking it seriously enough. And I want to go and see, I need to know the name of the property company, because I know it's McKenna Lee, but I can't get the spelling right, I think, because I spelt it like MACENNA, but that's McKenna. McKenna Lee is McKenna, Exo McKenna on YouTube, who I watch for DIY stuff. And she doesn't own properties there. It's not her. So I want to see, because I have a feeling if they're such a big property agency, they probably ignore this stuff all the time. And in that case, I'd go for a class action. I would literally go class action and take it from there. We were just lucky that the housing council got involved, because they were not going to believe us without them. Like, they didn't really care about the doctor's letter at all. They didn't care. They basically implied that had we been taking better care of things, then it would not have happened. And by that point, like, if you aren't good at taking care of things, they're... Oh my goodness, I just thought someone was in the house, but it's actually just the cats with zoomies. Buddy, I'm here. Because I know that Vaughn isn't home yet because I saw that he hasn't said he's left on WhatsApp. So I was like, why is there someone opening a window? There's so much security before they could get here. Like, my brain just goes to that because I haven't lived in a security place like this before. Now I forgot the train of thought. Anyway, let me hop off. I saw when I just first went live that like a bunch of people joined, and then when they saw it was caught, just dropped off. I think now I've created a bit of a problem with myself because I was doing live walkarounds and then people subscribe. Now they're like, what is this? This is not what we wanted. But anyway, I don't really care. I'm still just doing this for fun. These cats are going mental. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the camera quality. Feminine broadcasting is currently being liquidated. No, I shouldn't say that. It'll be back soon. Anyway. So if Recovery Addict isn't live on the 14th, then I will go live and we can watch both of those people at the same time. If he is live, then I will just do my own little one of this about this guy afterwards because I really want him to. I want him to at least get somewhere. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. It makes me really mad. And if you suspect there's mold in your house, please do whatever you can to get it seen to. Like even if you just have to buy a moisture tester at a building store for now, that's good enough. Just it's not just a little bit of mold. And if you clean it with certain stuff, you're activating things. You can cause even more problems. You can't be as you're brushing it off, it's activating it and you're breathing it and it's worse. And yeah, anyway, you get the point. But that's what I blame my crazy on. What do you blame your crazy on? I can't remember. I say a sentence. Oh, also, do you guys like my scarf? I bought it for Vaughn's mom and then I kept it for myself because it was just too cozy. You blame your crazy on the mold, maybe. Is that what you meant? Yeah, but seriously, there are so many episodes of Dr. Phil. Here's the breakdown of Dr. Phil's entire 26 seasons. 1. No, Sim, I'm not. I do currently have my Instagram not deactivated because I activated it so that I could grab some pictures to use. So same name on Instagram, I think. You can send it there. As soon as I can remember how to deactivate it, I will go. Okay, so here's the 3 things that happened in all of Dr. Phil's seasons. 1, parents aren't parenting, child acts out. No, Sim, I think the problem is that YouTube lost it. It's 81 degrees. What is that in Celsius again? 93 is about 50 something. So 81 would be in the 20s. I think we're at 14 or 13 or something at the moment. Okay, anyway, let me just not pay attention to it. I'm going to just go full screen. Go full screen. Not watch chat for a sec. Finish the story. Teen acts out. Teen acts out because parent isn't paying attention. Parent isn't present. Teen feels unseen. Teen gets sent to camp. Comes back more traumatized. Number 2. Person has minor head injury or repeated minor head injuries, all of a sudden becomes aggressive, gets their brain scanned, turns out it's head injuries, gets head injuries treated, life is better. Person believes that everyone is coming after them. The FBI is watching them. The helicopters swarming up for them. Every phone call, etc. It's all about like someone's trying to get them. Get the house checked. Mold gets removed. They come back to normal. That's it. You basically don't have to watch any of the seasons. I just summarized. 27.22 degrees Celsius. So that would be, at the moment, we're sitting at about 20, 24, and it's awesome. That's our high. We're getting, like the northern lights that people have been seeing in all different parts. Apparently that's happening here between 3 and 4 a.m. I don't know if I should wake up. It is currently 16 degrees Celsius. Obviously. But our house is cold. Okay. Quick vote. Is it worth waking up at 3 a.m. to see the northern lights in the southern hemisphere? $74, yeah. It was warm today. I had to put sunblock on. That's how warm it was. Joking. I put sunblock on in like 5 degrees. Yes, it is. Oh, bug. So if I wake up at 3, 2, 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. I basically had to go to bed an hour ago. Northern Lights in the Southern Hemisphere, I'm going to say yes. Damn, guys. Maybe I'll do my best, and if I don't, I'll see pictures anyway. I'll show you, how to make sure I don't show any phone numbers. Do you like me and just stay up, bug? If it hadn't been the situation that I had not slept. Remember, I just came out of not sleeping. I slept Wednesday night. Then from Thursday to yesterday, I didn't sleep. I am actually struggling. So it's this. Also, the chances of me seeing it is not 100%, right? I could very well not see it. So there's that to keep in mind as well. That's basically what I do. So, can't decide. Maybe I'll catch 1 and 3. At least you managed to tame your hair. I'm guessing you watched the replay, Steve. I watched it again, and then I was at a braai, which I will have to explain to you guys at another point. It's basically a barbecue done properly. So now my hair smells like meat and fire. So, yeah. But anyway, let me get going. I'll catch you guys soon. Also, I realized earlier that I was saying I was not doing a Scottish accent well, and I think most notably that's because it was an Irish accent that I was doing. So that's a little bit, I guess, true to my McCallum, Mr. McCallums are actually from Ireland, but I thought that was Scotland. Kind of just, yeah. A review of that apartment complex. One of the buildings was just condemned. Others aren't much better. Broken doors, filthy halls, flooded laundry rooms, and the mold and mildew for these crap-ass apartments. Oh my gosh, Sim, I need to know. I need to know what I need to go dig. I wish the URLs were coming through. Am I the only one who can't see them? Maybe just send like the name in the chat, and then I can Google that exact same thing. Because you're Irish. Well, Steve. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys this. Oh my gosh. Maybe I did and I don't remember. So my little identity crisis of am I Scottish, am I Irish, am I whatever, that like came to an end as soon as I went through border control on this side, because the guy said, as he gave my passport back, he was like, okay, you are home. And I was like, I could cry. Like I tried to voice note Paul saying it, and I just kept getting teary. Like I freaking love this country so much. I love it so much. It is the best. I'm just waiting to get Sim's. Or Sim, did you send them to me on Instagram? Because I can check that. Can you check Instagram on your laptop? Maybe that's how you deactivate it. I don't know how I did it the first time. Instagram. I'm gonna have to get better background music. I'm not vibing with this one. Oh, I'm actually still tired. Huh. That's a sponsorship I missed. Okay, so maybe you can also just comment on a community post. That's easier. I'll send it now. I know how to do that. Yeah. Did you see it? Like, is it showing up? Then I'll gather them and we can do like a deep dive. Set your alarm and go to sleep if you like if you can. Here's the problem. I have this is funny. So I have a very strict nighttime routine for myself and for my brain because, as you know, bugs, they always say, like, if you want to cure insomnia, set a good nighttime routine. Doesn't work for me, but I have one. So when I said it to my brother in August, he said, is it a nighttime routine or is it compulsions? And then I was like, I don't need another psychologist. I've got one, thanks. But good point. Good point. I just want to make a jacket out of this thing. Like, why am I even bothering with it? Up under, it's so warm. Oh. It's amazing how little goes on social media. When you leave and come back, it's like, I didn't miss anything. Oh, no, it did happen though. I dropped about, I want to say 2,500 followers. Oh, it's funny. Okay, it hasn't come through. Oh, there we go. Message request. Got you. Step. I bet my Instagram's gonna be deactivated like in a minute or two. Bye, guys. I'm also gonna say goodbye. Thanks, Sim. I'm gonna deep dive into this, and we will go through it all together. Either on Tuesday after the hearing or sometime after that, depending on how Recovery Addict streams go this week and how my work goes this week. So, deuces. What? Okay, bye.